Hello folks, I hope that you are having just the best day in your life today. Today we're going to be taking another look at Philip K. Dick. We're going to be looking at his 1974 short story, A Little Something for Us Tempunauts, where Tempus obviously stands for time and nauts for people that, journey like astronauts or cosmonauts. So this is a story about people that journey in time. And set in 1974, Philip K. Dick said about this story that at the time, in the 70s, people had become blah about the program of people going to space, where they were really into it in the 60s, particularly when there's the lander on Moon. But they were, become less. It became more of an institution. It became more of just kind of blasé, if you will, towards the whole thing, And so he said, what would it be like if time travel were a program too, just like the space program? Would we be equally blasé towards it after, maybe a trip or two? And so that's sort of the inspiration, if you will, for this time travel story that takes place. So that's kind of where Philip K. Dick is coming from. So what basically happens in this short story, our point of view character is the leader of an expedition into the future. That comes back, and they are supposed to be sent into a century ahead of time, but they wind up only going a few days ahead of time. So they're still there, even though they've been, and they find out that they have died according to the news. The 3 people that were part of this expedition have died upon re-entry back. But they're still living, they're still out there a few days ahead of time. And so our main character will meet with his wife. They'll have a conversation about where she challenges whether or not he's actually there, or whether he's there like maybe spiritually or as a ghost. But she ultimately accepts that he is who he says he is, pretty quick actually. And then that begins the conversation with him and his other 2 crewmen, and what happened and what are they going to do now are the key sort of questions that will be asked by our Tempunauts, if you will. And that's a short story. This is a heavy time travel short story, and it's 22 pages or so of a length. I do like it. I think it's well done. I think Philip K. Dick has written it ably. This is not my first Philip K. Dick short story or novel, in case that it has time travel as a plot. Actually, my first novel by Philip K. Dick was a time travel novel, and I was not impressed because Philip K. Dick writes kinetically. He sits down, he writes a short story or a novel very quickly, then he gets up and he kind of leaves it, and he sends it to the editor. So his short stories have this, or novels, can have this kinetic energy to them, if you will. But it also introduces self-contained issues. And he set up the rules of time travel in the novel that I read early on, and then later on the revelation that happens at the end broke one of the rules of time travel. So it broke his own rules. So it was not self-consistent like you want from a novel that you're reading, right? And so I didn't like that. So I didn't go back to Philip K. Dick until much later, this past summer, when I was dedicating my summer to going back to science fiction classics, and there was a novel through Android's Dream of Electric Sheep that I always wanted to read, and I always wanted to read the which inspired the movie Blade Runner, and I wanted to go back and read his short stories that inspired some of his novels. So I picked up this collection, and now I'm doing a deep dive into it for you. And I think he does time travel in this one much better, much more logically and coherently than he does in the novel that I read already for you. So that's just credit, and again, I'm giving him an 8 out of 10 for you. So there you go. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read this short story? What did you think of it? Did you agree or disagree with my take on it? If so, I would be more than happy to engage with it further in the comments below. If you like this video, hey, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these that follow in fantasy, science fiction, and horror. And finally, hey, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and investing in my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives that are being pulled so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have a great day.